Yo, what's good, guys? As you may or may not have heard, Miraidon, the Broken Mon, is finally getting a suspect test, so I'm joined by a very special person today, Mr. Bondone Hones, and we're here to talk about why Miraidon should be banned. Mr. Bond, say hi to the people.
Hello to the people. This is my full legal name. I can't believe he said it on YouTube.
I did. I'm sorry for doxing like that, Bond. Uh, Alright, so, Don, I understand you came with some talking points to this very serious debate.
Yep.
Yeah, you it's not really a debate, we both agree. But
Yeah.
I could try to play devil's advocate and talk about why I shouldn't be banned. If you want to do
Yeah, I
that.
mean, for sure. There are some points for Miraidon staying that some people have made. Now, some of those points were better than others, but
Oh Lord, some of the people on forums.
yeah. No.
Alright, I think I just want to talk about, like, base stuff, why this thing is broken. First of all, if you look at the beautifully placed VR to the top right, this thing hits everything, at least neutrally, barring the C minus iron treads, which I wouldn't even put it as C minus. I'd put it as it's unoptimal. It's not even unoptimal. It's dead weight on any real team, and it has cover. Like, overheat is super niche, but it does have coverage to hit it. So I think, like, it's one thing that resists its double stabs is a fake check. Like, it's not even gimmickly good for it to boost Spadef under terrain. You run like 14 defense IVs and you still get worn down. So that's like a fake check. And if you're running pivot boots, which is the best set, you're just gonna the opponent always gets momentum on you. So that's why just first of all, it's with its double stabs, it has nothing resisting those double stabs. Even Blissey does not beat this thing 1v1. You got stupid busted ability. You got Tapu Koko on steroids, right? So much diversity in his move pool. And on top of that, insane stats. 135 speed is nothing to scoff at. With the agility set, it's outspeeding your entire team once it gets an agility off. Insane spatak. Like, it's hitting harder than a max special attack Draco from this guy's hitting harder than the max special attack Draco from Mega Rayquaza. And Mega Rayquaza, what's that thing's stats looking like?
It's 180.
180. This thing effectively has over 180 special attack under terrain, and it's been in the tier as long as it has, which is kind of insane to me. It's not even hitting like, oh, it's like 1%. It's like by like a decent margin. It's hitting harder by like a few percent, which is honestly substantial when you think about it. But yeah, it hits really hard. But Don, what do you have to say about that?
I think one overlooked aspect of it that some people have pointed out is its bulk. It's quite bulky. I mean, if you don't even have to run like max HP Electric Seed for it to have a good amount of longevity. Like, even if you just run the Boots pivot set with Taunt or whatever, I mean, you're still going to wear down a lot of bulkier teams, and you know its typing is also not that bad. It can switch into things like Ho-Oh pretty comfortably, and 100 HP, 115 special defense. That's really good, especially if you start getting Calm Minds off. You're not even going to be able to, get 2-hit KO'd at a certain point by things like Arceus Ground Judgment, right, at like +2. I'm pretty sure you don't get 2-hit KO'd. It's just insane. And that's part of what makes it so good is, yeah, you might be able to wear it down, but if it gets going and you get put in a bad spot, maybe you don't have those counters that would wear it down with super effective coverage. It just leverages its bulk to do its job for a longer period of time, and that just becomes really unhealthy.
I think first of all, I just want to talk about all the sets it can run. Because what does it have? We got Boots Pivot, which is just heavy duty boots. What? Taunt. Nope, not Twin Beam. It's running Taunt, Electro, I can spell. Running Taunt, Electro Drift, Draco, and then U-Turn. What else we have? Double Dance can do... Oh, I can spell. Jesus Christ. Double Dance can do a lot. You can go agility. I mean, for Double Dance, it has to be agility CM. But in terms of the last 2 slots, you can go Dragon Pulse, Parabolic Charge. I used to trash on Parabolic Charge, but it is actually not half bad. I know +1, you Oko, what's his name? You Oko Zacian when you're modest, and that's without Life Orb boost or anything. And you're getting a lot of HP back. If you want, you could go modest Draco Life Orb with Terra Dragon or Stellar. That just straight up Oko's Tinglu. When it was more relevant in DLC 1, you had Solar Beam and Terra Grass Solar Beam especially to circumvent your ground weakness. Solar Beam because Sun's always up when you have Groudon. Yeah, it's pretty shit now, but you also have Koraidon, so Sun's almost always going to be up unless you or the opponent have a Kyogre. So you have Solar Beam to hit all of its ground quote-unquote checks. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else can it run. I've seen a Dazzling Gleam set, but I think it's dog shit. Yeah, it just hits so hard and it has so many viable Terras. The other set it can run. This is a stall counter team. I don't think this is a real set, but you can go CM Taunt. It just sits on stall teams. You go CM Taunt, Electro Drift, Draco. You just win straight up. And then there's old reliable Scarf or Specs. I think Specs is pretty shit because if you lock yourself into a bad Draco, it's usually setup fodder. That's why I like the boot set the most. You just if you are put in that situation where the Draco drops are accumulating and the opponent can gain back that momentum, you can just taunt that momentum back and pivot right out. So with Scarf and Specs too, I think Scarf is better. I used to think Specs was better. I think Scarf is better just because you're getting the jump on things like Zacian, which are your offensive checks mostly. Yeah. Do you have anything to add to these sets? Am I missing something, Don?
Let me think. I don't know. I don't think you're missing anything. I think just the biggest problem with all these sets is that you can run a lot of them without risk, right? There's not a lot of risk to using, like even if you lock yourself into a move, it's fine because you come in later and, all you have to do is remove one Zacian or one Tinglu, for example, and then, it doesn't matter if you're locked into a move, your opponent probably won't be able to switch into it. That's part of the problem with all of these move sets. It's like, yeah, you could build for, pivot set or you could build for a scarf set, but you can't build for all of them at once. And in practice, they're all very good.
Yeah. And on that front, I just want to talk about its counters. Its counters are all fake. Alright?
Yep.
You have, like, you've seen Arceus Ground has skyrocketed in use now. I think it's the best quote-unquote counter, I'm saying, because I like the DD set is just straight up good. But if it's on like a balance team where you're requiring for this thing to be a Miraidon check, it's just dog shit. On offense, this is like a good offensive Miraidon check. Get strapped into the wrong thing, you have Steel or Fairy Terra, you get DDs off. But I think 0-0, I don't think it lives a Draco Meteor. I don't know, I might be spreading misinformation. But even like Max has a role to get 2 KO'd by Life Orb Dracos. It's not fun. Like most of them you're stuck to running. This is just on Arceus Ground. If you want like the best set in my opinion when you're running Spadef is like Calm Mind, Recover, Power Gem just to hit a Ho-Oh, and then Judgment. But even then, you take a Draco from a pivot set and then you recover it off, you get taunted. Now you're scrambling. Your only check, this is assuming it's your only check on your team, your only check has been chipped down to like almost 20, 25, maybe 30 after the U-turn chip, and you have to switch out. You can't recover. You have to attack. So you kind of get fucked by that, I think. And then its other quote-unquote best check, I think, is Tinglu. But honestly, Tinglu just gets chipped down so easily. The telegraph switches are so easy. You can always U-turn out. You can always taunt on it. And even if it takes a Draco, its longevity is non-existent. It just takes a Draco for like 30, 35 from unboosted. And then maybe you get a spike off if you predict the taunt right. But overall, you're always getting the momentum right. If you're the guy using the Miraidon and you're getting that momentum on that Tinglu while your opponent is scrambling to find a defensive check. I'm trying to think what else is there. I think like Clodsire isn't real. Iron Treads, I think we already talked about it. It's gimmicky, it's fake, it's not good. What other grounds in the tier are good? Groudon, I guess, but honestly, Groudon's pretty dog shit.
Yeah, Spadef Groudon isn't even that bulky in the first place. Don't even bring up Gliscor.
Gliscor, no, it's not. Because I was explaining to this by Taka yesterday. Because I always thought people were like, Gliscor is like the Miraidon check. It's not a Miraidon check. It's more like it eats from Ho-Oh unboosted and whatnot. But people who are flaunting it as Miraidon check are just smoking dick. And then we have Vert, who thinks Landorus Therian is a good defensive check, which I don't fully agree with, but it is what it is. I think as far as those like defensive checks goes, that's really it, honestly. Like in terms of consistent counterplay, I think it goes as far as honestly Arceus, Ground, and Ting-Lu. And these things both get abused by Pivot Mirai. These things both get abused if they get chipped down unnecessarily. So it's not even a question of, I can't play around it right. Even when you are playing around it right, when you're using the checks as intended, most of the sets can still take advantage of you. Right?
Yeah, even Blissey, who, God, only really fits on hardstall in the first place. I mean, it gets shut down by taunt, and if it comes in with a little bit of chip, you're clicking Electro Drift or, Dragon Pulse or Draco Meteor or whatever a few times, and then you're just killing it before Seismic Toss can kill you. And, then their Miraidon check is gone, aside from, like, maybe Clodsire.
Yeah.
Who, again, only fits on hard stalls. So a lot of these counters or checks are very specific to certain team structures, most of which aren't very good.
Yeah, and Electro Drift, I don't know why I clicked AV there, but dude, this thing's still taking like 30 from Electro Drift, so it's not like you can switch in for free. You get taunted on, get the Seismic Toss turn wrong. You're still like not in the commanding position. I think. What are the main arguments to not ban this thing? That's what I'm confused for.
Well, the main argument I've heard is that Miraidon has checks. Yes, which I do agree with. It has a couple of checks, and a lot of people, from what I understand, are saying if you just put both of those checks onto a team, if you put multiple Miraidon checks onto a team, then it's not an issue. The problem with that is twofold. One, you're having to put 2 Miraidon checks onto a team and still maybe lose to it. And second, and I kind of talked about this in my discussion post in the thread, I think that you cannot build a good team that takes on every Miraidon set. Because, sure, you can make, like, Arceus, Ground, Ting-Lu, like, Flutter Mane, whatever. You can build all the counter-teaming to Miraidon you want, but you can't... But that doesn't beat it in a vacuum, because it has 5 other teammates. It has Calyrex Ice, it has Koraidon, it has E-Killer, all of which can take advantage of a lot of Miraidon's so-called checks. So the team, it checks 1 Mon, but it still isn't very good when Miraidon has 5 other Pokemon backing it up.
Yeah, if you, like, say in, like, some universe, your Miraidon's at 50%, you're a Pivot Boot set, you taunt the Ting-Lu, the guy playing the Ting-Lu gets the turn right, you're still taunted. Sure, maybe he knocks out your Miraidon, but now here's a Koraidon in the back who's going to come in, get a free SD, maybe you can EQ for, like, 30, Ruination for 50. He hits an SD into the Scale Shot, they just win. If they're Terra Ghost, your E-Killer's not revenging them. And again with Calyrex Ice just comes in here, takes under 25 from an Earthquake from this guy. This guy's... With CM, I do think it can snowball pretty effectively. This guy, especially with CM, I think it's slept on. From what I've seen, like, faster taunt recover sets aren't very good. But, yeah, I think that just the skyrocket in use of this alone is just proof that it's caused an unhealthy... It's made it unhealthy to the point where every team that isn't hard offense or hard stall needs a certain amount of defensive counterplay on top of defensive counterplay to, other broken shit in the tier like Bastion Legion and Koraidon, which I think this Miraidon is what you're playing against for the most though, which is why I'm happy it's getting suspected at first, because Miraidon's honestly the biggest thing that you're trying to check in a team like that. I don't know. What do you think?
Sorry, about what specifically?
Wait, what did I say? I think... oh my god, dude, I just, like, said words.
No.
Oh no. Let's go back to the talking points, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miraidon Wars. I don't know how real Miraidon Wars are. I don't think they're very real. I think it's just because of how populated the 135 speed tier is. But this is more about ladder, but there's a lot of douchebaggery where you're just praying that you always win the speed tie. And I think, like, it's not necessarily a means for a ban, but taking another guy off the 135 speed tier is honestly better for the tier, in my opinion. Less speed ties, I think, ward better play. I don't know, what do you guys think? Or what you guys, oh my god, that's me and the voices. What do you think?
Um, I think. Well, I mean, the reason I put Miraidon Wars there is because it's mainly just about who plays their Miraidon better, right? You have so many options that fit on so many different types of teams, and honestly, like the only team that doesn't need Miraidon is like Hardstall, really. So I mean, you get to a point where, hey, looks like their bulkier structure is weak to my, taunt pivot set, right? Where their offensive team is weak to um, my like scarf set, for example. Just throwing that out there, like life orb or whatever, and that creates so much variance, both in the team builder and battle. Again, you can't prepare for everything, but that just creates this thing of like, oh, who played their Miraidon better, and who can Terra their Miraidon, right? If I've already used my Terra on, Arceus, for example, it's like, okay, well, I can't use it on Miraidon, and I might lose because of that. And I think that just creates a very unhealthy kind of back and forth between like, oh, I have my Miraidon in, you have yours in, and like all that. And it's just really not good for the tier.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that for sure. I was just going to take a look at the teams that we built. So me and Don, we both laddered up a lot. We ended up RNTing this team. We both also got our Rex and faced the team that we built a lot that hard loses a King Gambit. But I was gonna say, how did we dealt with Miraidon on this team, because this was more balanced. We didn't more. I don't know. Would you say this team is more balanced or bulky offense? I feel like I'm leaning more towards bulky offense.
Yeah, I would say it's bulky offense because a lot of these Pokemon exert offensive pressure, but they are also able to take hits at the same time while doing what they want to do: calm minding, sword dancing, clicking, trick room, all that. They can withstand hits as they do that, which I think is the mark of bulky offense.
Yeah, I think how we dealt with this was like, this set doesn't die to like two modest Life Orb Dracos with like rocks up or something. But if you have that spike up, that's like a favorable roll to kill. So that's pretty bad. I'm trying to look at even just the other thing is it also. I'm talking in the top pivot set because at first I thought maybe Double Dance was the most broken. Honestly, pivot is the most broken. It's seen the most usage in tours too, and I don't know about ladder because ladder is just that's ladder, but it matches up really well to offense. Into Rabombi webs, you just click taunt, you click U-turn. Like I think this team also got us pretty far when we were playing more high ladder. This was what we played Aberforth with, question mark? I think. But
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah, taunt boots is really strong. It's just such a strong one. I'm trying to find some of the double dance sets we had. Yeah, this was one of the double dance sets. It was just because Modest. Wait, what? All right, I don't know what Zest was cooking. Cooked so hard he got banned. They see that? That was a joke. But I don't know. I don't know what to. I think I want to talk about this set too, because this was what we both used to get our Rex. This shit is so bulky, man. Like I think even if you tear a fairy at +1, it's like a very low roll for a Zacian Behemoth Bash to kill you. Which is insane. That's like a Terra Fairy. That's a super effective move from like fucking Zacian, right? And
Yep.
it's especially compounded with because there's always a trade off with Double Dance, but it's never not in their favor. They're always still scrambling to play against it, right? If it's Electric Seed, you got the defense boost, right? You're gonna knock you with that. If it's Life Orb, you're just hitting them hard as fuck, and you're OHKOing their resists. But I think the two biggest problems have only become taunt, pivot, and agility. Because on the agility set, you can afford to run so much bulk that you're outspeeding every Scarfer, barring like the C- Iron Bundle shitmon that you for some reason think is good. But I'm telling you right now, Iron Bundle's dick. It's not a good mon. I'm sorry. But yeah,
that's fair enough.
I don't know, what else can we talk about why this piece of shit should get banned?
I mean, we could talk about like, you know, what the metagame might look like if it gets banned. Like
this is a good segue to the Bikeless tour that we're hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bikeless tour, $200. You guys should join. It's gonna be a Swiss Open into what did we say? 5 weeks of Swiss into top 16 advance to play for money. It's a $200 prize pool. Join the Discord if you want to play in that. Shameless plug. Yeah. But I guess like I think without it, I'm trying to think. I don't know what it stops from existing the most, because I think ground types are naturally good, but they can also run like actually real sets. Like I think DD Ground CS gets a lot better. It's already pretty good, but I think it gets better. I think I don't know if Tinglu gets worse. Honestly, I think Tinglu being A is dick smoking. I think it's B plus or B. Even B plus, I think is too much. I think it's a B mon. It is the best spike stack. Nah, yeah, it's the best. It's the best bulky spike stacker in the tier, but I don't know if it's all that. But what I really want banned, I want Miraidon banned, so that Dark Arceus can just become the GOAT and put the tier back in a good place. Because I think Dark Arceus is just so fucking good. But I don't know, what would the tier look like with it banned? What gets better?
Let me look at.
I think Watercius definitely gets better. Defensive Watercius, in terms of checking Miraidon as well.
Yeah, I mean, just general counterplay to Miraidon and Basculegion becomes better because you can viably run it without fearing, like, you know, hey, I need to preserve health on my Arceus water for Miraidon, but I don't know how possible that'll be with Miraidon pivoting in and out of the game, you know, especially with other teammates. I think it'll hold together a lot of different structures, and it'll bring us closer to kind of the idea that we're exploring in Bikeless Tour, that idea of just being able to use a bunch of different styles with, you know, a more diverse pool of Pokemon that actually work.
Yeah. I think, weirdly enough, I think NDM gets better.
I agree.
Because NDM really does not like eating Drifts and Dracos. I think Life Orb guarantee kills. Non-Life Orb, you're still taking like 90, and if you get taunted on your Trick Room or DD, kind of stops your sweep. I think NDM definitely becomes a lot better, which I don't know. I don't know if you were there when we were talking about it on the server, but I think Taka thought NDM is broken. At first I was like, nah, what do you mean? Like, NDM's not overtly broken. When you think about it, it does put a lot of, like, just the fear of it having weakness policy, I think, is the biggest thing for me. Because I can never tell what it does. Like, I know playing with this team, the Necrozma Dustman is a really good lead into this team. So whenever I'd play with this, I'd always be terrified to click Mudshot, because if I click Mudshot and they Trick Room, I'm fucked. So with NDM, I don't think it's unhealthy for the tier, but it definitely has a lot of variance, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is another result of Miraidon being gone. I mean, like I said, Miraidon is just so good at enabling its other teammates because it shuts down checks to those other teammates. So, I mean, I think Necrozma won't be as good if Miraidon goes. Like, I mean, I think Landorus, for example, gets better, or like Gliscor for a example of a Pokemon that's actually good. But I think, I mean, Brady said Necrozma was the great Tusk of Ubers, and I kind of agree with that.
I agree with that,
like,
yeah.
It's in the sense that it's very good, but it's definitely not ban worthy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think most of the play I'm citing is also like ladder play, where it's like, I will click the super effective Earthquake into this Necrozma Duskmane, and then I like Trick Room up, and then they need to pick 3. But I think Skeledirge also becomes a lot better. Skeledirge gets a lot better, I think. Because Skeletor hates taking on Miraidon. It gets O-code like... It gets O-code really, really easy by a drift.
So does Ho-Oh.
I don't know. I feel like just like as an unaware mon, it's kind of mid right now. Because...
I guess on hard stall, yeah. I mean,
Skeletor...
if you're really wanting... If you're wanting a way to deal with, like, you know, E-Killer and Koraidon, I guess you can run Dirge on hard stall.
Yeah, I guess. Are there any electric train abusers that get worse? I guess Zacian kind of gets worse. Wild Charge isn't boosted anymore.
Yeah, true. Although I think +1 wild charge does like 75 to Ho-Oh, so
It
it's
does
not
75,
crazy.
but it never kills. Because that's what sucks when you're running Ho-Oh. Under terrain, you're always guaranteed to die. Huh. Alright. I'm trying to see. Let's...
Oh, wild charge under terrain doesn't even it never KOs full fizz def Ho-Oh. So
Where's... Hold up. Let's... We can do two things. Look at that. And then I also want to read... I did not read this. I don't know what... I never read the reasoning that the council gave.
oh,
What did they say? Blah, blah, blah. Talking. Okay, it's just broken. Let's look at this shit right here. Batu Legion is 10th in usage.
interesting.
This is kind of crazy. But yeah, Arceus Ground is now 7th just because of Miraidon alone. And, oh my god. Koraidon and Miraidon now have like 68% usage. I think these things are so unhealthy for the tier, man. You're an active disadvantage not using both of them, and there's zero downside to bringing them to a team. You can bring +4 of anything, and then these two guys, unless you're running hard stall, there's zero disadvantage to running Koraidon and Miraidon. Like, zero.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, personally, I think, you know, if, and, you know, maybe when Miraidon gets banned, I don't think suspecting Last Respects would be the move. I think suspecting Koraidon next would be the correct course of action, because I think people will realize just how insane Koraidon is. It might not be Miraidon level, you know, for a few reasons, but it's still... I think people will realize just how crazy it is after Miraidon gets banned.
I think in terms of consistency, the Scarf set is really good, but in terms of like sheer sweeping power, the Terra Ghost SD Scale Shot set is just broken. It's so I'm looking at this tiering. What the fuck? Why is Excadrill and Rabska up here? Dude, this ladder is cooked. But yeah. This is indeed the tier of all time, where Koraidon and Miraidon have 68 and 61% usage, respectively. Do we have any closing things to say? I have one thing to say. Get your suspect test, Rex, to vote ban on this thing, because it makes the tier unfun. Please get it. I will personally give you the teams.
There's people making serious arguments about keeping Miraidon. We can't let them win.
Please. All right. Yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video and think we should ban Mirai, smash that like button. Hit the big red... I can't finish that sentence. Yeah, if you like the video, just... Yeah. Do that. Alright, peace.